everyone, I'm Katie DeNure, and today we're going to learn an acoustic version of Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper from A Star Is Born. This is what the play-along sounds like.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? I'm off the deep end, watches are diving.
There's a spreadsheet in the description box that contains all of my fingerpicking tutorials, A through Z, with links to the tutorials. The chord chart below is free, but please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really helps me keep this channel going. Also, when you hit subscribe, make sure that you hit the bell so that you never miss another video. All right, let's get into the tutorial. So let's go over the chords first. We are going to need an E minor. So I'm going to take my focus box, fingers 2 and 3, and I'm going to place that on the 2nd fret of the A and the D string. I will need a D, so I'm going to take finger number 3, place that on the 3rd fret of the B string, and fingers 1 and 2 will be on the 2nd fret of the G and the E string. You'll also need a variation of this, which is a D over F sharp. So I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to curl it over. So my thumb is going to be pushing down on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, the E string right there, like that. If you can't reach that, bring your elbow up just a little bit, and that might help be able to just apply a little bit more pressure when you're pushing down on the 2nd fret, like that. We also need a G. I'm going to be using this G variation, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to take fingers 4 and 3, that's going to be on the 3rd fret, and finger number 2 will also be on the 3rd fret of the E, B and the E string. Finger number 1 is on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then when we need an E minor 7, I just take that middle finger and I scooch my pointer finger over just a little bit, and I'm going to put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. I'm going to need that soon. Now we have a C chord. It calls for this kind of C chord right here. Looks like stairs. Finger number 1 will be on the 1st fret of the B string. Finger number 2, 2nd fret of the D string. And then we have the 3rd fret of the A string, ring finger. A minor. I love this transition from C to A minor because here's my C. And then I just take my ring finger and I put that on the 2nd fret of the G string. So it's here, goes to here. I love that transition. And then we need an A. A, I play it this way all 3 in a row. I've seen it done this way. I've seen it done this way. Just use whatever way is best for you. I like to take fingers 1, 2, and 3, place that on the 2nd fret. I almost said 3rd fret. It's the 2nd fret. And that's on the B, G, and the D string. B minor. A lot of people are saying, no! It's okay. It's not as hard as you think. Just keep persevering. So for B minor, I'm going to take finger number 1 and I'm going to smush it across the 2nd fret right here. Bring it closer to the fret. You're going to have an easier time if this is your first bar chord. Now take fingers 3 and 4, place that on the 4th fret of the G and the D string, and then finger number 2 is going to be on the B string. So you see that? It's going to be 2, 4, 3. Now if you notice, there's an X right here on that 6th string. That's because I'm not playing it. One, you could completely avoid it, or what I like to do is I'm taking the very tip of my pointer finger. Do you see that? It's lightly touching that E string so that when I strum, you can't really hear it. Like that. So I'm muting that string. If this is your first bar chord, this is what I suggest that you do. Take your finger and roll it on to its side. So instead of using the flat of your finger, it's going to be tempted to bend like that. Just roll it to its side just like that. Bring your elbow a little bit closer to your body for a little bit more leverage. And then move one finger at a time. Try to place one finger at a time. So if you don't like the finger picking part, what you can do is that you can use this easy version. So I am going to find an E minor and I'm going to strum down 1, 2. Now on D, I am going to strum down twice on counts 3 and. 3 and then I'm going to mute on count 4. And then on the end of 4, I'm going to strum down on a G. 2, 3, 4. So it sounds like this. Down, 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 smush down. 2, 3, 4. Let's try that again. Down, 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 smush down. 2, 3, 4. Now for the next part, I strummed a C chord 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then G, G, mute, and then a D on the and. So we have the C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and. So you see that rest, that eighth rest that I have that's notated in the rhythm part right here. That can be a mute, and that's what I'm indicating as my mute, that rest, where I'm just taking this portion of my palm. I call it something very technical. Call it the squishy part. So you're going to take the squishy part of your hand and you're just going to lightly touch your strings just to stop them from vibrating. You do not need to really hit your strings. That would hurt. But it just stops them from vibrating, creates a nice little click, especially if you mute it right around these frets right here. So the whole thing. Down, 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 smush, down. 2, 3, C chord. 1, 2, 3, G, G, smush, D. So the whole thing. Down, 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 smush, down. 2, 3, C chord. 1, 2, 3, G, G, smush, D. Now once we get to the chorus, what I'm doing is that I'm strumming once and I'm holding the rest of the chord. That's called diamonds. So I'm holding it for however long it tells me to hold it. The sheet music calls for several D over F sharps. I only chose 2. You could actually replace every D with a D over F sharp or vice versa. You can choose. So for A minor, I strum once, I hold that for 4 counts. D, strum once, hold that for 4 counts. G, for 2. D over F sharp for 2, E minor for 4, and then I repeat. Then once I get into the second part of the chorus, I'm going to start strumming. If you are a beginner, this is what I suggest you do. Just strum down 1, 2, 3, 4, or down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. What I'm doing is down, 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 up, down, 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 up. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a. So remember, each down, 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 up is going to be equal to 2 counts. So if I want to play a strum a chord for 4 counts, I have to do the down, 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 up twice. So this is what it's going to sound like. A minor, down, 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 up, down, 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 D, down, 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 up, down, 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 G, down, 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 D, E minor, down, 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 up, down, down. Again, A minor, D, G, D, E minor, 2 measures. 1 more. So this is what it's going to sound like. A minor, down, 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 up, down, 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 D, down, 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 up, down, 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 G, down, 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 D, E minor, down, 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 up, down, down. Again, A minor, D, G, D, E minor, 2 measures. 1 more. When we get to the bridge, I'm continuing with that strumming pattern, but we have a B minor instead. So we have 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4, D, A, E minor, B minor, D, A for one measure, then hold an A minor. We just reached the chorus, and again we just strum the chord once and then we hold it for diamonds. Once we get to the second part of the chorus, then we start strumming again. So it's actually the exact same thing as we did before. Now, if you're struggling to transition between your bar chords, this is what I suggest you do. Leave the previous chord just a touch early, and then your pointer finger is going to mute the rest of the strings, and then you keep your strumming hand going. So let's say we are at the very end of the chorus, we have an E minor, and we're going to go straight into the bridge to the B minor. So if you listen, you'll hear a, all right, so we have E minor, 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a. Did you hear that? So what I'm doing is that I'm still keeping time with my right hand, but with my left hand, I'm moving just a little bit early, covering the strings, getting in position for my B minor, and then I can squeeze right on count 1 so that the B minor is right on count 1. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1. Give that a try. Hopefully that helps. So if you listen to the track, the finger picking part is all over the place. It's variations on your E minor 7, D, C. So what I've done is that I've just taken 4 measures and then we're just going to repeat them over and over again just to keep it consistent. So first we have the E minor 7, and I'm going to assign my middle finger and my pointer finger to the B string and my pointer finger to the G string, like that. When I'm teaching my beginners, it just really helps them to be able to have one finger or certain fingers assigned to certain strings. And so for these, my middle and my pointer will find a home here at these 2 strings. They will move around just a little bit, but not very much. So I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to pluck the E string, the 6th string. Then my thumb is going to pluck the D string. I just found that to be the easiest way to teach my students. So we have thumb, thumb, and then I'm going to pluck the B string with my middle finger, and then the G string with my pointer finger. So we have thumb, thumb, middle, pointer. This next part is a D over F sharp, so my ring finger is going to remain here. I love this transition. So it has an anchor. I find my D, and my thumb curls over to the F sharp. My thumb is going to pluck that E string again. Then my pointer and my middle are going to pluck the G and the B string at the same time. So we have thumb, fingers, then I'm going to tap to mute. So it just stops the strings from vibrating. So let's try that again. Thumb, thumb, middle, pointer. Then we have thumb, fingers, tap. So from here, I'm going to find my G, my pinky plants underneath, and I'm going to find my G this way. See how my ring finger remains right here on the 3rd fret? It's my anchor finger for this progression. And then I'm going to pluck the E, and then the B, and the G string all together, like that. My other fingers are within the chord, just in case I pluck a different string. It's going to remain within the chord, so if I pluck a different string, it's going to sound like, oh, I meant to do that. It's going to sound like it's within the chord, so sonically, it's going to make sense if you accidentally hit a different string. So let's try that together. Thumb, thumb, middle, pointer, thumb, fingers, tap. Okay, now find a G, pluck all together. Let's try that. This next part, we're going to find a C chord. My thumb is going to pluck the A string first. Then I like to use my thumb again to pluck the D string. If you would like to use your pointer finger, go for it. But again, I am assigning my middle and my pointer finger to the B and the G string. So I have thumb, thumb. Now here I'm going to pluck the B string, but then I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to place it on the 3rd fret of that same string. So I'm going to pluck it twice with that middle finger. Then pointer finger plucks the G string and thumb plucks the A string again. So let's try that. Then I'm going to take my ring finger, I'm going to pluck the open E string and then pluck that B string again. So it all revolves around your C chord. Now here, I find a G chord, I'm going to pluck the E string first, then G and the B string, tap. And then from here, I find a D chord and I'm going to pluck these 3. So what I mean by these 3, it's the D, G, and the B string. So we have our C chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, thumb, fingers, tap. Find a D chord. Now from here, there is a hammer-on pull-off. You can use a couple different variations of this, but I suggest that you find your D chord, and then you are going to pluck the open E string, so you're going to lift your middle finger off, and then your middle finger is going to hammer on, like that, of the E string. And so when you're plucking the string, and your middle finger is literally hammering or hitting that string, like that, and the sound is actually coming from the string hitting the fret. So if you're wondering, like, how does that work? That's what's happening, is that the string is actually hitting the fret. Now from here, you do a pull off. So what happens is that I apply the pressure to the string and I almost drag the string down. I pull the string down until it actually strums the string. I'm going to take my fingers off of that D so that you can really see it. Like that. So my finger drags across the string until it almost strums it. So that's hammer on and pull off right there. So it's going to be a quick hammer on, pull off, hammer on, pull off. It's almost like brushing the string. Then I'm going to play the B string, then the G string. So I'm going to pluck those. Something that's very common that happens is that the ring finger is accidentally muting that E string because it's laying just a little bit flat. Try to use the very, very tip of your finger to hold that position right there on the 3rd fret as you do your hammer on pull off that way. So with the hammer on pull offs, you know, if you listen to the track, there's a couple of variations that Bradley Cooper plays. But what I've done in the play along is that at the very beginning, yes, I do add the hammer on pull off. But then while I'm singing, I just stop because I just wanted the focal point to be on the other finger picking and on the words. And so you can add it or subtract it wherever you would like. So I've practiced this at about 92 BPM, or beats per minute. And if this is too fast for you, especially for the finger picking part, or if the strumming pattern's just a little too fast, I have made a video on how to slow down or speed up any YouTube video. I'm going to put that in the cards above and the description box below so you can slow it down to the pace that works best for you, or you can speed it up if you feel like making it faster. That works too. If not, then I suggest you work with a metronome. It helps you keep time. Work on the finger picking part slowly. Make sure that it's clean. If you can play it at a very, very steady and accurate pace, then start speeding it up by 4 BPM. That's what I recommend until you're at around 92 BPM.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself. longing